Hey guys, in today's video I'm going to share with you guys the manicures that I wore in the month of October and half of November. It's looking a little bit dark right now because let time get away from me a little bit. I got hooked on watching Hot Ones, and normally I tend to record with natural daylight, so we're dealing with lights today, but that's okay because the pictures you guys are gonna see I took in daylight, and I'll show you guys close-up bottle shots. I'm gonna start off with the manicure that I have on right now, and this may come as a surprise to you guys because I am rocking some long nails. For a couple of months now, I've been craving long coffin shape or ballerina style nails. I actually even debated on getting some acrylics, but I haven't had acrylics in many years, and quite frankly, I don't want to go that route. So instead, I thought I would do some press-ons. Initially, I went into the store looking for the bare ones that you can paint yourselves, but when I went into Target, I came across this line, which is the Kiss Glam Fantasy Ultimate Illusion Nails. I'll link this particular one down below because it doesn't have the name on the box. I'm going on day 5 right now. Initially, I only wanted to wear them maybe 2-3 days at the most, but at the 2-day mark, I thought, well, let me see if I can test out how long I can wear these for before they pop off, because I'm usually very active with my hands and I tend to break my nails quite often. And I'm going on day 5 and they're still holding on. So be on the lookout for a review and application and removal process of this little guy right here. But I'm loving it. I'm loving it so much, I actually got another one, which I'll share with you guys at the end of the video, a few of the things that I've picked up recently. Polish that I wore in October and actually wore during the, you guys will maybe recognize it from my fall seasonal picks. This is Zoya Roxy, and I've mentioned before, it's one of my favorite Zoyas ever. Formula's really great. It has a raspberry jelly base and some silver metallic glitters. For me, usually this does take 2 coats to get opaque, but I prefer it at 3 because it loads up on the glitter and the base deepens up a little bit, and I feel like it creates a bit more of a contrast between the base and the glitter, and I think it just looks really pretty. I do forget every time that I talk about this polish though that every time I reach for it, I do have to shake it up because the glitters do sink to the bottom, and if I go in on my first hand and move on to my next hand, I have to shake it up again. So just thought I would mention that, but really beautiful polish. Fall in Line is one that oh gosh, it's been many years since I've worn this polish. I think this came out in a fall collection quite a few years ago. I mean, it is part of a fall collection, but it came out quite a few years ago. I want to say it came out with For the Twill of It. And I had forgotten how beautiful this polish is, not only in formula, but also in color. It has a little bit of a dusty quality to it. Very beautiful. Formulation wise, super easy application, dries very quickly, and takes 2 coats to get opaque. Very Bossy is another one that I wore, but I wore this one as a pedicure. I do plan on wearing it though as a manicure also because I love this polish so much. I mentioned in my fall seasonal picks that I had finished a bottle of this and didn't repurchase it last year, and I missed it so much this year that I went ahead and bought it again. So this one has more of a jelly formulation, and because of that it does require 3 coats to get opaque, but they're not very difficult coats, and when it dries extremely glossy, so you don't need a top coat, but I usually do top it off. It is one that I have to be mindful around the cuticle area because it is a stainer though. A manicure I didn't love so much, and it's not that I didn't love the combination. So the natural finish of this is a matte, which I don't mind at all. I think it looks really beautiful. The issue that I had with this polish in particular is that it dries so quickly. This is probably one of the fastest drying matte polishes that I have. Kind of like the white one, the matte white from China Glaze that came out. Oh gosh, where did it come out? I think it's this one, Cabana Fever. I think this dries even faster than that one. When I'm applying the polish on one side of my nail, by the time I've moved on to the next side of the nail, this side's already dry, which makes it a little bit tricky because then it doesn't really level out very well. Because of that, I had to add a top coat and then add a matte top coat on top of that, and it defeats the purpose for me. So I'm gonna try to work with this one because I feel like it looks really beautiful as far as color and the matte finish. The matte finish of this is more velvety, which is my favorite matte finish ever. So I am gonna try to work with this to try to make it work because I adore this. But I did pair it up with Dollish polish. This is Mornings Are for Coffee and Contemplation, which is a gold glitter, and it has some gold holographics, it looks like. I think it also has a little bit, no, I think it's just gold, I want to say. In this light, that's pretty much all I can see. If there's any difference, I'll go ahead and pop the information here on the screen. I think I did one nail, I think it was the index finger, 3 coats of this guy, and then I think I did a little bit of dry brushing over this guy on some of the nails. Wasn't my favorite manicure, and I think it just kind of went downhill because this one wasn't working very well for me. Another duo that I have here is It's Alive from China Glaze. This one has a green jelly base and silver metallic glitters. When I posted a picture of my manicure on Instagram, somebody said I had never noticed that It's Alive has gold glitters. It doesn't. It has silver metallic glitters, and they end up looking like a lighter green because the base is a jelly. But I think it's just the way that light was reflecting on my nails that captured maybe a little bit of gold. But this doesn't have gold glitter, or at least that I can ever see myself in the bottle. And just an FYI, this guy does dry textured, so 1 or 2 coats of a top coat will smooth it right out. Because I wanted just a little dash or a little bit extra bling, I pulled out my I&M Northern Lights top coat, which is a holographic top coat. You couldn't see too much of the holographics against this base here because this is so glitter saturated, but it did add a little bit of, you could still see the little bit of the rainbows on the nails, and I thought this combination was really pretty. Another combo that I did that I loved so much is Black to Black from Sally Hansen. I had issues with this polish. I actually pulled out the other one because I was having issues with one, and so I pulled out the other one, and I had the same issues with the other one as well. And it's not something that I had noticed before. I don't know if you guys can see. I have my fill line down to there because I have used it in the past, but it was taking a while to dry. So it was a manicure that I had to do over maybe twice or something like that, just because it wasn't drying very well. So I didn't know if maybe it was the base coat that I was using, maybe I didn't remove the oils that I had on my nails very well. The point is that it took a little bit longer for it to dry than what I was expecting. But I added this on all of my nails and then topped it over with Glitter Glam, which is an iridescent short bar glitter from Sally Hansen. Put this guy over this guy, and I loved it so much. It's not a very unique manicure by any means, but I think the fact that there's something like this in the drugstore that's a bar glitter, because bar glitters are hard to find in the drugstore. I don't think they're very common. I think it made it a really special manicure just because it had the bar glitters. I wish drugstores, like I think Revlon used to have a bar glitter back in the day, and I wish they would play around a little bit more with the glitters. Like Sinful Colors is a brand that plays around with glitters quite a bit, and I wish they had maybe more with little bar glitters, different colors or something like that. You know what I mean? I think that would be super fun. The little bar glitters do tend to feel a little bit, not textured, but you feel a little bit of the bumpiness on the nails. It's not fully textured. So that's something that actually bothered me, because it's either a texture polish or you're not a texture polish. It's one or the other. This is not. And I felt like I felt the glitters a little bit more than I was expecting to. Also, at the end of the nails, I felt like I had to push some of them back just a little bit because they wanted to stick out. But that's pretty normal with a lot of the glitters. Just be mindful of that if in case you have this and you haven't tried it. But 1 or 2 top coats does smooth it out a little bit. I didn't feel the bumps quite as much. Another combination that I did with the Sally Hansen Black to Black, I did my index and my pinky finger with Black to Black. Once again from Sally Hansen, but this time I mattified it. And then on my middle and my ring finger, I added Bite Me from Sinful Colors. I feel like this is one of the unique polishes from Sinful Colors where they did a really good job. So the base of this is more of a jelly, very translucent, almost orangey base, like a reddish orange. And it's not even so much that, I want to say, because I feel like it has very fine little like bronzy red shimmers that make up the base of this, and I can't tell the difference between the two. It also has some matte black multi-size glitters in here. I think this is really beautiful because the base is a jelly. It does require 3 coats to get opaque, but it's not a difficult polish to work with by any means, and I think the end result is really beautiful. I also used Bite Me over top of Every Month this Oktoberfest from OPI, and I think I added a couple coats of this guy and then put 1 coat of this over this to see what would come out of it. I feel like Bite Me, it almost, it deepened it up because this base is deeper, so I didn't feel like it featured this polish its best. These two by themselves are really beautiful. Just together, I don't think it's a combination that I'll do again. This is combinations galore because I did a lot of combos this month. I used Sally Hansen Insta-Dry. This is called Cocoa Agogo, which is more of a chocolate kind of shimmery brown. It's very beautiful. Opaque at 1 or 2 coats for me. Because I wanted to use this guy as a topper from Orly, this is Space Cadet. And I've mentioned before, I've used this guy by itself in the past, and I think at 3 coats, I can still kind of see the nail line. So this time around, I thought I would use it as a topper, and I thought I would top it over like a similar darker base or something like that. I didn't feel like the manicure looked bad, and actually, if anything, I feel like this base helped out this polish quite a bit because it brought out the duo quite a bit more than when I've used it by itself. So I did 1 coat of Cocoa Agogo, and then I did 2 coats of Cocoa Agogo, and then I did 1 coat of Space Cadet over this guy. I have Sinful Colors Vacation Time, which is more of a mauvey pink, kind of on the dusty side. Great formula, couple coats for this guy from Sinful Colors. And I dry brushed a little bit of glitter over it, and this is a glitter Goblin from China Glaze. I thought it looked pretty, but it wasn't my favorite. I kept staring at my nails hoping to love it a little bit more every time, but I just didn't. And I think it's because I dry brushed this guy over this guy to where I feel like this guy just deserves to stand on its own. It has some orange glitters and some silver holographic glitters, and so I kind of want to give this polish its own little moment basically. And I feel like although it looked really pretty and together, maybe I can pair these up together again, but do a couple accent nails with this guy just by itself and then this guy by itself on the rest of the nails. Along with these two, like the Black to Black and Glitter Glam from Sally Hansen. This was probably my next favorite. So I have Sample Sizing Me Up from China Glaze, which is a medium tone blue, and it's on the dusty side. And because I couldn't decide on these 2 toppers, I put them both over top of this guy right here. I have Take It or Leave It from KB Shimmer, which is a multi-chrome shifting flakies, and this guy's a topper. So the flakies are in a clear base, and you get a little bit of basically fall in a bottle because it looks a little blue, a little green, a little orange, a little coppery, and it just looks like autumn goodness. It's such a beautiful topper, very similar to Yes Weekend, which is another topper that I got from KB Shimmer, and I featured it during the summer months. This was no different. This is just as amazing as that one, just that the colors are different for both. And because 1 topper was not enough for me, I pulled out Essie's Shine of the Times. I didn't own this polish prior to this past month, but sweet Karolina from Gotta Love Polish, she sent me this polish. And honestly, I hope that via our messaging, she could sense my gratitude because I can't thank her enough for sending this to me. So this guy is more of an iridescent flaky topper, and it is in a clear base, and it has multi-sized little flakies that kind of look a little green, a little orange, a little yellow, a little blue. I thought at first, and even in certain lights, it looked like I had overdone it a little bit too much, especially in certain lights where I feel like this guy kind of overpowered this guy and this guy. But looking at it head on in majority of the times, I could see the base of Sample Sizing Me Up. I could see the little flakies from KB Shimmer's Take It or Leave It. And then you can see, because these flakies are a little bit more transparent to where these are more opaque and foily. These are more transparent, so they kind of laid over Take It or Leave It so freaking well. And you can still see the flakies from this guy, but then you could see the little iridescent from this guy over top of the flaky. It was so freaking beautiful, and it's definitely a manicure that I would like to do again. And it makes me want to play around with toppers quite a bit more and just layer a few toppers together, because I think that would be fun. Although at certain times I felt like it was a little bit too much. Majority of the times I thought that it looked amazing. Linkin Park After Dark is another one that I wore, but this one I wore as a pedicure, and I'll have a swatch on my nails for you guys to check out. My bottle is dying. My bottle's probably down to here, so for me it takes one coat to get opaque, and it does take a little bit longer for it to dry, but it still dries within, I want to say, a good 30 minutes or so, maybe a little bit longer, but always a favorite. And the last one that I have on right now is Como Se Llama from OPI. But I pulled out the wrong one, and I don't know where it went. So I'll have a bottle shot for you guys to check out. Great formula, 2 coats to get opaque, and I think it looks amazing. The primer that I've been using this entire month and a half or so, this is OPI's Infinite Shine 1. This is the primer. I've had this guy for a while. These two actually came in a kit with a red polish. I think it was a Breakfast at Tiffany's little kit that my mom got me. And I've been using this guy, and I've actually really enjoyed it. I do feel like it helps the manicure last quite a bit longer, and I don't have a lot of wear and tear on my nails after maybe 3 or 4 days or something like that. Like I've mentioned, I'm very active with my hands, so really great primer. And I also have the OPI Infinite Shine 3. This is their glossy top coat. It's not as glossy as the I&M Out the Door, where it gives you that glassy look, but it does add great shine. And more than anything, what I love about this is that I'm towards the bottom of this bottle, and it hasn't thickened up on me. Although thin, it doesn't flood my cuticles. So really good one. The one that I've been using quite a bit to post, like I'll take pictures of swatches and stuff like that, is the Sinful Shine top coat, which is pretty good. This guy though, I have to be a little bit careful with, because this guy floods the cuticles like crazy. I feel like I can never be careful enough with this guy, but still a decent top coat. And a matte top coat that I used, it was the one from OPI is the one that I focused on, but I used this guy once. I used this guy, but I used another bottle that I had, and it was very, very strange. Parts of my nails look white, like a matte white. It looked really cool, but that's not what I was going for. I was only going for a matte black nail, but I don't know if it's because I've had that one for a while and I just used it the most. It added a whole, like, it changed the color of my polish, almost half of my nail, to a white. It was just really strange. So I pulled the other one out that I hadn't used quite as much, and it worked very well. I've mentioned before, this is kind of a finicky matte top coat. You can't go over and reapply over itself multiple times, otherwise it doesn't really mattify very well. But when it does mattify, it has this very velvety finish to it, which I do enjoy. Let me move on to the things that I did purchase. I have the Orly quick drying top coat. This is the In a Snap. I've used this before. I like the consistency of this because it is a lot thinner. Again, one that I have to be very careful to not flood the cuticle area. The only thing I don't like about this guy is the brush. It's super, super slim, or at least the bottles that I've used prior to this guy here, it's very slim. But I like it because it stays pretty thin almost until the end, and then it starts thickening up quite a bit. And then I also got this Orly glosser. This is a high shine top coat. I've never used this guy before, and this guy says for super slick shine. So I'm looking forward to it. We'll see what comes out of this guy. I also picked up this American Classics Instant Artificials. This is supposed to mimic the hardness of acrylic nails. Nowhere on the bottle does it say if I need a UV light or an LED light, some kind of lamp or something like that for curing. This just says top coat on it. So when I put it on my nails, first of all, it's very, very thick. I have another one that's similar to this where it has the green little lid. This one's not as thick as that one, but this one I feel like it almost stays tacky. It either doesn't dry or it's gonna take an hour to dry or something like that. Every time that I've used it, I've kind of removed my manicure and then just I've redone my manicure because I've digged my nails after 30 minutes and it's still wet. It's just really, really weird. So if you guys are familiar with this, let me know. The I&M Northern Lights. I actually bought a brand new bottle because the one that I have in use is pretty far down. I love this because the holographics in this are like little fairy dust. They're very, very fine holographics. And when the bottle is full and even up until the halfway point, you can build the intensity of the holographics and it looks very, very beautiful. I've mentioned before, one of my favorites. This one, because I am halfway down, there's less base coat. So when you apply it now, it doesn't gradually build the holographic. It adds a little bit more than it was before. So I'm gonna continue using this one. If I want, you know, heavier holographic application, I'll keep using this guy. But if I want to add a very delicate holographics on my nails, then I'll reach for this guy. But amazing, I love it. Berry Naughty is a polish that I ended up buying, I think in October, sometime beginning of October. And Bahama Mama, which I mentioned both of these in my fall seasonal picks. And you guys are not going to believe this. I found this polish. It has been a lemming of mine since Miss Holly Berries. Miss Holly Berries, every time she would mention a polish, I was all over it. Yummy Yams from Sally Hansen, the salon manicure line. I found this on overstock.com, and it was I think it was the last one when I searched for this guy, so I was able to purchase it, and now it's actually been sitting on my fall seasonal rack, and I can't wait to put it on because I'm really, look at that, look at how beautiful that is. I also picked up this Wet n Wild because I haven't seen the Wet n Wild Mega Last, the I don't know if this is a limited edition. It says new, but the drugstores that I have don't have anything new. They actually don't even have this line anymore. So I was very excited to see this. And this guy is called Amethyst Rocks, which is a purple. I'll have a close-up of this guy, and it has some gold. It looks like gold little metallic glitters, and it looks like also silver. So super excited to put this guy on. A polish that I'm not very happy about, and I've actually been meaning to talk about it since my seasonal polish video, because I pulled it out to put it on my seasonal polish rack, and then when I opened it, I don't know, let's see. Okay, I don't know if you guys can see that. Let's see if it doesn't even move. Do you see that? Do you see that? It's completely dry. I'm very upset because I have some glitters from China Glaze that have a dense glitter in them, like Atlantis. Let's say, for example, notorious for getting thick right as you're using it up because it has so much glitter in it. Mine's just now starting to get very thick, but I've had that polish for years, and I've opened up that bottle numerous times. This guy, I think I mentioned it for the first time, maybe it was last year or the year before. I've opened this bottle a couple of times, and already this. I'm not happy about it because indie polishes are not very cheap. And if you're gonna not only price your polishes at this price, and I understand this has a lot of glitter, but if you're gonna price them at this price, I think this should last quite a bit longer, considering that I've opened this bottle 2-3 times at the most, and I've had my Atlantis for ages now. Okay, mind you, and China Glaze isn't nearly as expensive as Different Dimensions. I forgot to mention the brand. And my bottle is just now getting thick. Let me see if I can pull Atlantis. This is the Atlantis, and yes, it's now getting thick, but it has movement in it. There's movement in this polish. Do you guys see that? It moves, also thick. This guy is just solid. There is no moving this guy around. And look at that. It's just gummy. I think this will be the last time that I purchase a dense glitter from Different Dimensions, because quite frankly, this was a waste of money in my opinion. Okay, I think that is everything that I purchased this month. Actually, no, let me quickly mention these nails because I was so happy with this set right here that I decided to purchase some other ones from Kiss. This is the Salon Color Vivid 2-coat color. These come with 28 nails, by the way. I don't know the name of this one, so once again, I will link it down below because it doesn't, for some reason, it just doesn't have the name at the bottom or on this box anywhere. But I'm really excited. I'm actually thinking of wearing this maybe during the Christmas time or something like that because holidays are kind of a busy time for us, and maybe on the day of my nails will probably be wrecked by the end of the day. So I'm thinking maybe I could do something quick like this because this took me like 15 minutes to apply. No joke. And that's with me measuring the nails, you know, gluing everything on and all of that, which was way faster than painting my nails and stuff like that. Okay, so that is everything, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it's a bit of a long one, but I do appreciate the fact that you guys took your time to watch, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.